Well, day 15 for my 3D print shop remodel, and I want to know who ordered Chicago weather for Southern California today. I just got dumped on. I was out in the yard watering the citrus trees, and all of a sudden it's been cloudy all day. Thunder, lightning, rain. I just got soaked. So before we get to doing anything in the shop, which I wanted to do today, this afternoon, I gotta go change my shirt because there's no way I'm gonna be able to work all soaked like this. Welcome to 3D Accuracy, where I'll talk about 3D printing, 3D product design, and 3D injection and die-cast mold design. Well, glad you could join me. Hear that? It's a crazy day today. We've got thunder, we've got lightning, we've got rain in Southern California at the end of June. Today is what, June 24th? Today's the 23rd. I don't know, one of those days, who cares? End of June, and it's raining. And today, that's what's happening. So it got off to a strange start because I had to do some things out in the yard today, water some of the trees, and I got dumped on. So I've changed my shirt. At least I've got a dry shirt on. So I'll show you what we're gonna do today. Okay, if you remember, if you saw the last video, I filled this crack with sand between the two slabs, this slab and this slab. And so today I'm going to attempt to fill, hear the thunder, I'm going to fill the cracks, all the cracks in the expansion joints and these cracks here with the floor sealant with this stuff, this Sika Pro. And I've never used this before, self-leveling, so I'm not sure how fluid it is, being self-leveling, and I understand that it's sticky, gooey, and it can be a mess. Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. Can you see the rain coming? End of June in Southern California. It's not supposed to do this. But anyway, it was cooler today, so that was nice because I could open the doors, I can get some work done, and it wasn't so blasted hot like it was last week, but a little more humid today. So anyway, I'm going to try this stuff. I'm not sure how wide a crack this is good at filling. You know, this is a little bit bigger crack, but then I've got some kind of hairline cracks here, and I don't know if this stuff is fluid enough to get down in there or not, or if it's worth it. So first I'm going to vacuum out all the cracks. I'm going to get the vacuum in here. I've got it somewhere. Oh, it's right behind me. Go figure. So I'm going to vacuum out all the cracks, get it cleaned up so that the sealant will stick to the concrete as good as possible, and get that done. One other thing that I want to do, I got to do a little bit of concrete work first. Let me show you that. I decided down here in the corners, I've got a couple of strange spots right there. And they put a piece of drywall against the 2x4, and the foundation kind of stops there short. And you see over on this one, the other side of this door, I've got the same thing going on there. And then this one over here on this door, well, let me get around to the other side. There, you see there's no drywall, no piece of drywall in here. It's just open. And this one over here, on this side, previously, I had just filled that over. And I think what I'm going to do is do the same thing with these corners. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more concrete. Two reasons I want to do that. It'll give me a clean edge. At least it'll all be concrete. And I'm trying to see if I can get rid of the rest of this concrete in here and empty this bucket. Otherwise, I've got a bucket with like this much concrete sitting around in the shop in the bottom of the bucket taking up space, and I don't want that. So I'm going to try to see if I can get rid of it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but one step at a time. We'll mix up some cement, patch those little areas up there on the corners, and then get to the fill in the grout. So I won't bore you with mixing concrete and vacuuming out the expansion joints. I'll just do a before and after kind of thing. I'll show you when I've got it finished what it looks like, how it turned out. Okay, first step done. Let me show you what we've got. Okay, I've got those corners finished being patched right there. And the other side, you can see over there, got that corner filled in. And the last one over here on the other side of this door, we have that one patched up also. See, right there, we got that corner patch, and I had a little extra concrete left, and there was a strange dip in the floor here. It was high back in the corner and a little low in this area and then higher again here, so I leveled that out a little bit. Not that it's important, it's in the corner of the shop, and I have materials usually stacked here. You'll never see it. It'll help with the floor when I lay that down, that it doesn't have to go down and back up again. It'll be a little smoother. So I decided, okay, I have some extra cement. Let's go ahead and just patch that low spot up a little bit. It'll make it better. So that's what I decided to do. So let me show you how much cement I have left. Now, what do I do with this little bit of cement? You can see here in the bucket, out of that whole, what is it, 20 pounds of cement, I've got that little bit, maybe an inch in the bottom of the bucket. What am I going to do with that? It's going to sit around in the shop and collect dust and take up space. If the bucket's empty, I could use it for something. Even garbage is better than just having a bucket taking up space. So anyway, now I got to figure, what can I do with that little bit of cement to get rid of it? Maybe I'll just throw it away. You know, it'll sit around for a while, and then 4 or 5 years from now, I'll say, what's in this bucket? And I'll pop it open, and here's this cruddy cement that's no good anymore, and I'll just toss it. So, you know how that stuff goes. Okay, back to work. Well, I've got part of the floor done, part of the cracks filled, and we also have a change of plans. So let me show you what's happening, and I'll explain. Okay, I used that Silca, that's what it's called? Take a look at it here. Yeah, Sika Pro Select, okay, self-leveling sealant. And I've done some of the small cracks, and it seems to work pretty good. Although it says, you know, a minimum fill depth of 1/4 of an inch, and these cracks are not 1/4 of an inch deep or wide. This one over here is perhaps, because you can see it's sunk, and I've already added more to it 2 other times, so it's still settling and leveling itself. So it's working, but it's a strange material to work with, and consequently I've got a change of plans. See, I've got the some of the fine cracks sealed, but this stuff supposedly takes a while to set. When you do it like this, like you're supposed to do, you see I've done this short little section here, this expansion joint that goes all the way across the shop. And I've done this short little section, and that's roughly 2 feet, give or take a few inches. And you can see how it's level over here, and then by the time I get down to here on the other end, it's a little thicker. It's flowing in this direction. And that's okay. It's not bad, but I've realized I don't think I can do just fill a section, even though this is relatively level, because the floor has a little wavy up and down to it. So what I'm going to do, I decided, also I don't like pumping this much material into those deep cracks, so I've decided to fill them with a little bit of sand first. You can see I've got this crack partially done, because they're a good 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch in some spots deep, and they recommend like between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch for the sealant. So I decided, okay, let's fill this up with a little bit of sand and do it that way. So that's what I'm doing right now. You see I've got this one done all the way to the wall. I've got one more to do, and that's from front to back along this crack here. The other one over there was the one that I did the other day, and so that one's finished. And what I'm going to do is, you see I've got a little dam here, and that's because this crack was a T. It didn't end, and I knew I wanted to try it on one section, so I had some silicone that's dirty. That's why it's black, because it's got dirty with all the dust in the shop. But I just put some silicone caulk in there to create a dam so that I could try this and see how it worked, and then I'll just pull that out when I do the rest of it. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to use this sand, and I'm going to go like every 12 to 18 inches, depending upon how flat it is, and I'm going to put a little dam, kind of like I did over here. Let me show you what I did in front, and I think I showed this the other day. See, I just put a little dam with sand there so that the sealant can go up against the sand and stop. And so what I'm going to do is every 12 to 18 inches, I'm going to put a dam. And I'll make it, you know, an inch or inch and a half wide. I'll put one here, put one here, put one here. And I'm going to fill this in sections, as if I would have split this in the middle here. Put a little dam in there. And then once it sets up, then I'll vacuum that little bit of sand out of there, and I'll patch those little, sections that didn't get any sealant because the sand was there, and close it up. Because you're never gonna see this once I put the peel and stick, vinyl plank flooring down. You're never gonna see it. So it's not a cosmetic issue. I don't care about it from that standpoint. I just want to be able to get this stuff in here, and because it is relatively fluid, it wants to run in the slightest little bit of an incline. So I'm going to do it in sections, I'm going to try it that way. Do it in sections down the line so that I can control the flow of the sealant and don't have it all over the place. Otherwise, most of it's, if I just filled these cracks, most of it's going to end up out there in the driveway. And that's no good. That's not going to work. So that's the game plan for today. This is the end of it for today. I'm just going to lay some sand, and then that's it. Well, one last thing I had to try before I quit for the day. It's 9:30 p.m. right now. But I wanted to try something. So let me show you what I did here. I finished getting the sand in all the expansion joints so that they're not so deep. Don't use so much of the sealant. And then I went ahead and I put little dams with sand. I made every 14 inches. I made a dam, made a dam, made a dam, because the floor is not perfectly level. And then I went and I filled this area here, you see, from the wall there. And then I filled that with the sealant until I ran out, until the cartridge was empty. But it looks like that's going to work pretty good. I'm just hoping that it doesn't absorb into the sand. It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's going right up to it and stopping. So once the sealant sets and it dries, then I'll pick that sand out of there and maybe vacuum it out. And then I'll go ahead and fill those little spots back in with some sealant. I'll just plug all the little holes. And that way I can control it better, because like even on this little stretch that I did here, which is just over 2 feet, it's pretty level over there. But because the floor tips a little bit, you can see I'm just a snitch high down on this end. Not much, but if I were to go a distance greater than this, like if I went, all the way across this whole thing here, I don't know whether this is at the same level. And because this stuff is self-leveling, it's on the fluid side, you know, it's thick like, oh, kind of like honey. It's like a thick honey in consistency, and so it wants to run into the low spots. And you know, I just don't want to take the chance that this is low in the center and I end up with a big puddle of sealant here and nothing on the ends, as an example. So I put a dam every 14 inches. I thought, hey, it's worth a try. So it looks like it might work pretty good. We'll find out, you know, in the next couple of days. The other thing I don't like about this stuff is I read on the box it can take 3 to 5 days for this stuff to set up until it's hard. And I'm like, what? I was hoping, you know, overnight, tomorrow I can walk on it, I can do whatever I need to do, you know, to get the next stuff going. I don't want to have to wait 3 to 5 days. Of course, I got to go to Lowe's, I got to get some more sealant, you know, so I can do the rest of it. But anyway, it looks like it's going to work. I'll just have to live with the fact that it takes a long time for this stuff to dry and go from there. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you're ever in need of 3D product design, 3D injection mold design, 3D die-cast mold design, or 3D printed prototypes or production parts, please feel free to contact me. You can find contact information in the video description. I look forward to hearing from you and to being of service to you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. See you on 3D Accuracy's next video.